Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the CD guy, Johnny Z here. Thanks so much for tuning back into the channel, and today, well, I'm going to be reviewing the new Dolly Parton rock album, Rockstar. Well, I just spent the last 2 hours listening, that's right, 2 hours listening to the new Dolly Parton record. It's her first rock album, and, oh man, the stuff I do for this channel, I'll tell you that, man. That said, I've prepared some remarks. Let's get into it. First off, let's get this out of the way here. Some fast album facts. This is the 49th studio solo album by Dolly Parton, released today on November 17th, 2023. It's her first rock album to release in her catalog. That's the only reason it's being reviewed here on this channel. And guest musicians here include the likes of Richie Sambora, Sting, Steve Perry. You have Ann Wilson, Kid Rock, Steven Tyler, Stevie Nicks, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Peter Frampton, Joan Jett, Elton John, Pat Benatar, Neil Giraldo, and many more. It's all just so completely backwards that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induct Dolly Parton in before she even makes a rock album. You know, while so many great rock and metal bands get snubbed every year, but, you know, that said, I do give her credit for trying here, but it doesn't make this attempt any better, in my opinion. The title track, Rockstar, is one of the few original Dolly Parton compositions here on this album, with some really solid guitar work from Richie Sambora, but that's really where my enjoyment of this track ends. You know, I find the rest of it to be irritating at best. End of the chorus, Dolly sings, "I'm a rock star," over and over, and no, Dolly, you're not a rock star. You know, let me just say this. Dolly Parton may be an incredibly charitable and amazing woman, incredibly respected within her genre of music, but she's not a rock musician, and this album definitely shows it. Covers on here like Every Breath You Take, Open Arms, Magic Man, and Heartbreaker are mediocre at best, in my opinion, but let's get into some of the best and the worst from this album here. Again, I do have to give credit where it's due. Dolly manages to do a fine cover here of Purple Rain. I think her collaboration with Stevie Nicks on What Has Rock and Roll Ever Done For You is pretty cool, although mainly that's because Stevie Nicks finally got to complete this track, which was, you know, previously a demo deemed not good enough for a Fleetwood Mac record. I was also intrigued by Dolly Parton's collaboration with Rob Halford here on Bygones, which is not bad. You know, it's always great to hear the Metal Gods vocals, and that might just be my Judas Priest bias showing, but that was one of the more intriguing tracks, I think. But as for the bad, there's quite a bunch to talk about. And as for the bad, I don't even know where to begin. How about let's begin with the fact this is a 2-hour album. It's 2 hours long. Again, that's what I said before. I spent my entire morning listening. I got up early to listen to this. Oh my god. Okay, there are some abysmal covers on here, like Stairway to Heaven featuring Lizzo. You know, there aren't a lot of great Stairway to Heaven covers out there, but this one certainly is not one of them, and I'm sure John Bonham is turning in his grave. We Are the Champions and We Will Rock You are just laughably bad, and even the Beatles couldn't save her cover of Let It Be. Some songs covered on here aren't even rock tracks, by the way. You know, I'm about 14 songs deep into this record, and then she started covering Miley Cyrus. I almost turned it off right there. 2 hours of suffering later, I'm giving this album 1 out of 5 stars. The redeeming qualities here, in my opinion, are really in the strong choices for guest musicians, although ultimately even they couldn't save this mess of a project. It's just kind of all over the place. Feels like rock threw up all over this album, but I'm sure Rolling Stone will give it a rave review. So will, you know, Pitchfork and Revolver and everybody else. But for me, I think Dolly sounds extremely out of place here. She's not a rock musician. Like I said before, she may be very respected within her genre of music, but it doesn't cross over very well to rock, in my opinion, at least. You know, some of the covers on here are just downright terrible. Some of them aren't that great, and I definitely wouldn't recommend this album. You know, I think there are a lot of other great covers out there of a majority of these tracks that are just much better. So unless you're a fan of Dolly's, in which you might appreciate, you know, the charm of this record, it's not for me, and I would not recommend it. But, you know, going back to the question that I asked in the thumbnail of this video, is it the worst rock album of 2023? I would say so, absolutely. And I did put out a poll in the community tab asking if you guys felt the same way, so definitely feel free to vote over there as well. But, you know, I give her credit for trying. It's a lot more than some other non-rock Hall of Fame inductees have, you know, done. But this is a rock album in, you know, and I say that in air quotes, rock album in gimmick only. So that wraps up this rant and review here for the new Dolly Parton rock album, Rockstar. I'm never listening to this album again, you know, and even if I were to go back to this album, I definitely would listen to it from beginning to end, because 2 hours is just too long for any album. I gotta be honest with you guys. So with that in mind, one out of 5 stars for me. Not a fan, and yeah, I do feel this is the worst rock album of 2023. So with that in mind, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel down below. Please subscribe, man. I listened to Dolly Parton for 2 hours. Please subscribe if you've not already. Be sure to turn on the bell for notifications so you never miss a new upload. And let me know down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on Rockstar? And is it the worst rock album of 2023? I want to hear from you. And until next time, it's the CD guy, Johnny Z, signing off. Take care, everybody. I'm going to go cleanse my palate with some Cannibal Corpse.